Emerson Village, woo woo. So, hey, I'm having fun with everybody in the chat. I'm just seeing it pop up. But everyone, if you do me a favor and just hold your questions to the end, I promise we're just going to do a quick run through Carolot, and then we will leave a majority of the time open so that way we can get some questions. I see some returning groups in here with us, so you guys can help and share your experiences with Carolot as well. And then we've got some new folks joining, so we're so excited about this Carolot season. Next slide, Morgan. So quickly, we're just going to run through, as I stated, quick introductions, program overview, little expectations, show you a little bit about Carolot, some maintenance materials, and again, leave a lot open for questioning. Again, I will be saying this often because we do have to let you know, because I know people are joining at various times, but this will be recorded. So feel free to just stay off camera. I don't mind feeling like I'm just talking to no one. No, just teasing. Doesn't bother me at all. I know that you guys are here. Next slide, please. So a little bit about Carolot. Carolot, we are an initiative that supports community-based organizations that want to clean, mow, maintain, and simply beautify vacant lots during the growth season. Growth season for us is typically April until the end of September. So we growth season typically changes. Our start always is in April, but the date kind of fluctuates a little bit. So 2025's Carolot season will kick off on April 12th, and it'll go until September 30th. September 30th is usually a hard stop for us because, as you will see in some of the slides coming up, that we allow up to 11 visits, maintenance visits. So I'll break that down in a second, but that is our time frame. Maintenance typically, and we'll get into this a little bit more too, would be more like mowing, edging, litter removal. Again, and I'll cover some of the other tasks as well. I do have to mention, we will not honor any maintenance that occurs on your lot prior to April 12th. Again, we have to stick with our budget, and that just allots for 11 visits. So if you do anything before April 12th, then you are simply doing it out the kindness of your heart. And for that, we say thank you. And again, if you do it after September 30th, same rules. So just stick within our time. Next slide, please. Okay, here we go. A slide with a whole lot of words, but we've got to get into it. So eligibility requirements. It is a program requirement for BMORE Beautiful that you must be a registered 501c3 tax exempt organization and not or, not but and in good standing with the state of Maryland. We will check these things, but don't worry. I know people get a little worried about those things. We've been able to help, like if we reach out to you and say, hey, your organization is not in good standing, it could be simply because maybe a document wasn't filed, and we can kind of show you where to go to get that taken care of, which can be taken care of quickly. But that is something that we will check. We will be looking for your determination letter for the IRS, as well as if you're in good standing with the state. If you are not a registered 501c3, then we will be requiring you to seek out a fiscal sponsor that has that designation and, again, is in good standing with the state. If you need some recommendations, we can kind of let you know some of the main groups that people have used that do accept new applicants, but you can always check with your faith-based organization, your community association, things like that to kind of help you out. If you need our help, again, Natasha, Morgan, and I, we're all here for you to be able to kind of walk you through that process. The organizations...
I'm sorry, Brandy. I just wanted to tap in real quick, just to add to what you were talking about in terms of the 501c3. Also, make sure that they know if they are if they happen to be a 501c3 that is out of state. I think, Brandon, you may have mentioned this. My phone was going in and out, so I apologize if I'm retreading. But the importance of making sure they have a location within Baltimore City. It's okay if you have like a large faith-based organization that might be housed in Houston. But as long as they have an operation here, then you're good to go. I might be repeating, and I apologize if I am.
No apologies needed, Natasha Morgan. They're my partners in crime, so they will be helping along the way. But yes, that's going to come up on another slide, but that is very important for us. Thank you so much, Natasha, for stating that. because some of the, for example, some of the Presbyterian churches that some folks have used are in other states, but they must have a location in Baltimore City. So yes, thank you so much, Natasha, for that, because that's a big one for us. Let's see. Also, supporting documentations. Your application, if you have not already applied for Care-a-Lot, it is on our website, ecb.baltimorecity.gov. Click on the Be More Beautiful tab, and grant opportunities will take you to Care-a-Lot, and the application should be at the bottom of the page. But again, you'll see on those application that we require you to submit with your application your IRS determination letter. Even if it's your fiscal sponsors, ask for it so you can attach it so we know that you have that. Also, if you are using a fiscal sponsor, we're going to require that you use, that you submit a letter of support, because we just don't want you signing folks up and they don't know that they're helping you out this season. Something new for us that our deputy director has implemented is that we will be looking for you to have your 990N form. So the IRS 990 form really just lets us know that your tax exempt status is really still active, still in good standing. We can help you out with that, and especially if you can't pull that up. I know Natasha has kind of walked me through it a little bit. So we can certainly help you out with these documents and where to go to look for them. So have no fear, we've got your back. If applicable, proof of community ownership. We know a lot of lots are owned by the community or are governed by Baltimore Green Space. So we just need to see proof of that, and copy of self-abatement letters. So we'll get into that in a second, but that is for, I see you, Miss Cynthia. I won't forget about you. That is, if you want to drop your question in the chat, but I'll take it at the end, and it'll be shortly. Copy of the self-abatement letters. And we'll talk about that. And that is for spaces that are privately owned that you want to maintain. So talk about that in just a second. Next slide, please, Morgan. Thank you. Okay, we heard you loud and clear. Stop hollering. I heard you. You guys said you want that old thing back. So this season, we are going back to dispersing funds through Baltimore Civic Fund. So have no fear. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Those that are those that was with us through Workday. Although you've applied for your Workday account, we are still using Workday. So that is two ways where we've been dispersing Be More Beautiful grant funds, either Workday or Baltimore Civic Fund. But for Care-a-Lot, we're so happy that we're able to do it through Baltimore Civic Fund. And we hope that you find this a little more easier to use. So there are a few steps for Baltimore Civic Fund. So our preferred method of dispersing funds is through direct deposit, ACH. So BCF uses a system called Bill. And whether you sign up for an account or not, you will still either receive your check or ACH through Bill. There is a big benefit to signing up for Bill. So new grantees or new fiscal sponsors, we will send, if you're accepted into Care-a-Lot, we will give you all this information. I just want to touch base with it early, just to kind of give you a heads up of what we're doing. So you would fill out the authorization form. We would give that link to you so that you can do it. You would have to provide a voided check, that kind of thing. It'll walk you through. It is very easy breezy, guys. And the benefit to having an account is that you're able to update your banking information just like that. You don't have to send your private information to Be More Beautiful. You don't have to share it with BCF. You can just deal directly with your bill account. And it's got a cool little feature that allows you to track payments, which is really nice. So that way you don't call and say, Brandy, money coming. You can see it for yourself. So we really we love that. So existing customers that has dealt with BCF before and has created an account, no need to redo a new account. You just go back in there. Just want you to double check to ensure that you are still using the same banking if any information is changed, because we don't want to delay it. So you do have the option to do direct deposit or a hard check through that'll be cut through the mail. But we love direct deposit. It's just much easier. We don't have to wait on the mail, and then we don't have to look for lost checks that never made it. Next slide, please. Okay, all right. Here's another slide with a whole lot of words. But I thought it was important enough for us to talk about what we consider a lot. So for us, a vacant lot in the city is really defined as, we say lot, but we really should be saying parcel, right? So that means a space that initially had a building or structure on it, right? So for example, 123 Main Street, if that space had a house on there, that we consider one parcel of land, AKA one lot. If the spaces are next to each other, right? And it's 123, 125, 127 Main Street, for us, that's three lots, three parcels. But you're going to hear us say lots. We rarely say parcels. So just kind of wanted to break that down so people kind of know what we're talking about when we say a lot. Sometimes folks can think like, oh my goodness, that's a big undertaking. But really just think about a space maybe where one row house was. And we have a little formula and things like that, especially for areas that were larger houses and things like that. We can tell what they equate down to. Let's just run a list. Eligible lots include our preferred lots to use are mayor and city council owned, but we will allow you to get to do private spaces, but we will require you to go through the self-abatement process, which we can help you out with, which really requires you to write a letter, use the SDAT, write a letter to the owner and let them know that this is a nuisance lot, back it up in your letter if you have 311s, all that good stuff. For privately owned spaces, all you can do is cut. Yep, I said it, that's it. I'm sorry, that's all you can do. For other care lot spaces that are mayor city council, you can see some of them are really built up. Some of them have gardens and things like that. But for privately owned spaces, we only just allow you to just cut the grass, pick up the trash. Because if the owner ever comes back and want to take it from you and say, hey, we want our space back, they are allowed to do so. So just pretty much keeping it clean. All right, so I jumped around a little bit. Eligible, small pocket parks, small neighborhood gardens, community-owned vacant lots. All of that's good. We talked about privately owned spaces. What's not included is private lots for personal use. You cannot add your backyard in for care lot. I'm giggling, but it's happened. You're not allowed to, we won't accept the spaces that are, the vacant homes where the home's still standing, but the front and the back is out of order. We don't accept those spaces into care lot. No lots that are assigned to BCRP, DOT, City Solicitor's Office. If you ever use Code Map to look at a space, you'll see what agency is responsible for it. Those agencies in particular have their own process in adopting or caring for their spaces. And we just don't want to get in the middle of that. And it takes us a long time to get approval. So we stay away from those and refer you back to that agency if you want to use that for community space. You work directly with them. We can't do it through Caroline. No median strips, no grassy strip areas in the alleys, no wooded areas, overgrown backyards. We just talked about that, of abandoned houses. At minimum, we expect you to cut the grass. So that means some grass have to be there, y'all. So no lots less than 50% of grass. And again, you can check the ownership and status of the property, and we're happy to help you with that too. Because I'll tell you what, when you fill out your application, we are in partnership with the Department of Housing and Community Development. We're going to run it past them anyway. Because one, we want to ensure that this space isn't being used by another community. And then we want to make sure it's available for community use. So you can check for yourself, check out Code Map, look at SDAT and things like that. Next slide, please, Morgan. Thank you. And I see y'all carrying on in the chat. Keep it up. Thank you so much for all of the questions. I wanted to add in here about a lot change requests. Oftentimes that some mayor and city council properties, they do get sold, right? So spaces where we thought we can maintain, there's been a change. And so you might have to do a pivot. We're good with that. We just want you to do it in writing. Or if your capacity changes, right? Let's say you get approved for doing 10 lots and you're no longer able to do that many, you want to back it down to 5, so that's fine. You just need to let us know, okay? Because we do share with DPW, and I think this is going to come up. Yep, I'm jumping ahead, but we do share with DPW our list because it kind of takes that service off from them because the community is maintaining it. So we want to know about any change that you want to do, any switcheroo that you want to do. We need to know in writing. You can send everything to carolot@baltimorecity.gov. Anything Carolot related goes straight to that. That acts, all of us liaisons, we have access to that. So even if you say, "Hey, Natasha, here's the question," you might get Morgan to answer. So we kind of work together in that way. But feel free to use that email address for all things Carolot. Okay. Again, please note that all lots participating in Carolina program will be removed from the city's maintenance list because they assume that you'll be caring for it. And so that's a big help to the city. If you happen to get to your lot, right, and DPW or another one of our contractors has already cut it, let us know as soon as possible because we just want to ensure that that has been taken off the list. But we know that sometimes that can be a little over. Just let us know. Just let us know. And we'll take care of that. I want to mention that we know that there are a lot of groups that also are part of Clean Core. Happy for you. Don't get cute. Don't be slick because we're watching. You cannot submit clean core lots for Carolot, but you can do both programs, right? So
Yeah.
if you have a certain amount of lots that are a part of clean core, find some other spaces to take care of through Carolot. You get what I'm saying? What I'm saying is no double dipping because we work together and I see you. We're watching. But we just wanted to mention that so that there's no overlaps. Enough lots out here for both programs. Next
And
slide, please. Oh, go ahead,
just
Natasha.
no worries. I just wanted to piggyback on one thing that Brandy had mentioned in terms of if DPW happens to come to a space and it's maintained already, and you give us a heads up, like, hey, they cut my grass and I don't like it. Please also know that it goes both ways. So because we are a city and your neighbor might not know that you're the person or your organization is maintaining that space. So if they see that it's, let's say, overgrown or has like a little bit of litter, they will still call 311. And if your lot is on that list, DPW does a really good job of reaching out to Brandy, myself, or Morgan and saying, hey, this space was, flagged for 311. We see it's on your list. Do you want us to take care of it? What's the deal? And a lot of times, we'll reach out to you guys just to give you a heads up and just to make sure that, hey, it's maybe getting a little overgrown. Do you have any intentions of coming out? Or there might be an opportunity to have those conversations where if capacity has changed, you may not have had a chance to get around to tell us. So just know that in those cases, it does happen. It's a two-way street in that way.
Yes, thank you, Natasha. Great point. So true. And last thing mentioned a lot, just taking a look at my notes, we will be requesting to see copies that you did go through that nuisance abatement process for private properties. So as a part of your application, submit your letters that you submitted, that you sent off to those private owners. Best way to do that is kind of get a return receipt so that you can have proof that you sent it off, and you have to give them 30 days to respond. So I don't remember saying that, but just wanted to throw that in there for those that do have private property and need to go through that process. Let us know. We're happy to help you out with that. For my returners, you already know, still got to do the same thing every year, right? Okay, last year's letters don't work for this year. Got to submit them again. Okay. All right, so here we are with program expectations. With the exception of April, you can anticipate providing a service to your approved lot at least twice a month. For April, it's one. So, and that's where we'll get our 11. So yeah, so please keep that in mind. We will be sending out a schedule. Natasha created a great schedule that kind of will keep you on track of submission deadlines because we will be held to a hard deadline with BCF because they move a little different than we don't have as much flexibility like we did in Workday. Okay, so we will be sending out deadlines, and that way you can kind of keep up, and we'll send you reminders and things like that, but keep that in mind. Again, we will not accept maintenance invoices in excess of 2 a month, okay? So don't send us 3, 4, or 5. We don't want you to rush through your cuts. It's supposed to be throughout the growth season, right? We don't want you to do everything on the front end. We want to see at least, with the exception of April, 2 cuts a month. And again, you can mow and invoice us up to 11 visits during the growth season. You must invoice in order to receive payment against your grant award. And we'll get into a little bit about the invoice and the maintenance log in the next slide coming up. Next slide, please. All right, a little bit about a maintenance visit, because this is different, because everybody's lot needs are a little different. So pretty much when we say a maintenance visit, we're talking about mowing, litter removal, weeding. Some people do that all in one time. Some people break that task up, especially if you have a lot of spaces. A maintenance visit also can be just litter removal only. We know this is Baltimore City. We can find trash all the time. So we know that some spaces get that way. And I'll put a pin right there and just kind of say, if you come to your lot and it's been over the weekend, especially 4th of July or anything like that, or when you first start and you find that there's some illegal dumping, please call it into 311. Please let Natasha Morgan and I know about this so we can work closely with DPW to get this removed quickly. We don't want anything to hinder your progress in being able to take care of that space. But we know in some areas it's just a little difficult because they are subject to illegal dumping till people kind of catch on that we're really caring for this space. All right. A visit can be just strictly just mowing only. That's it. Also edging, weeding, trimming, and we're throwing in watering, right? Because a lot of our lots are built up and they are gardens, right? So they take a little edging and things and a lot of watering. So we do allow that. We do request, it's preferred that you send us before and after pictures, but I'm gonna let you know that pretty much what we're going to need from you is your invoice as well as your maintenance log. There's going to be no way around those. It's going to be no way around those. So we're going to need those. Now, I know that some people do send pictures. We love that. And we will do spot checks. So your girls are always out on the move. We're always checking up on you, even if you don't know that we're there. But we do pop-ups just to see what's going on in the neighborhoods. But we love to have your before and after pictures. But we know sometimes people aren't able to download those or different things happen. It could be our Android users, iPhone, people, but I'm just teasing, but we love to have those. So next slide, Morgan, please, before I get in trouble with my Android users. All right, a few other maintenance reminders. You're gonna hear me be redundant about some things because it's important for us. So 2 maintenance visits must occur between first and last day of the month. Try not to have them back to back. Our director, we call her Eagle Eye. She doesn't miss a thing. And having dates that are too close together, it just doesn't make sense. So for instance, if you go out and you provide a service at your lot on May 1st, and then you go back 5 days later for the same lot, providing the same service, it's going to be sent back to you so fast you ain't going to know what happened. Because we want you to change that out. Now, it's different. Let's say for those that have 25 lots, right? You might do the first 10 the first day because it's 90 degrees out there. That's all you can get through. All right, 2 days later, you can come back and do the other half. Does that make sense? I hope so. But we can help you out with those. We just really don't want to see the same task for the same space 2 days apart. It's between mowing, it should be at least 2 weeks. Okay. And
Yeah.
again, that's what the slides say. Natasha?
Yeah, I was just going to say that's clustering is how we like to refer to it as. So if you happen to have let's say, like Brandy said, let's say you have 10 lots, and let's say they're not continuous, or let's say you have 15 lots and they're not continuous, because most spaces they tend to be continuous, but let's say they happen not to be, they scatter throughout the neighborhood. If, for instance, you do the first cluster, let's say 123 Main Street through 125 Main Street on Tuesday, come back 2 days later, and you're over on Carey Street and dealing with those particular cluster of lots. And then let's say you have another cluster of lots that's on Baker Street or something like that. That's fine. Because again, we know it's 90 degrees outside. That might be very, very difficult to attend to all 15 lots in one time. That's fine. It's just that if you go to Carey Street on the first to mow, and then you go back to Carey Street on the third to remove litter. It's like, wait a minute, why? Those are where those red flags kind of pop up. So it's not a problem to cluster your services, particularly if you have a large amount of lots that you're maintaining. We want to make sure that it's achievable and doable as well, but not something that comes off as being a little suspect, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. So just spread them out. Again, we're gonna give you just a little guide to kind of help you along. And we know that's doesn't work everywhere, but just kind of give yourself a little space, okay? Next slide, please. All right, invoice and maintenance log process, right? So here's what you got to do to be successful in care lot this 2025 season, right? Provide maintenance service to your lots, like we said, up to 2 times per month, except April. Remember, that's just your one cut in April, one cut in April. Take before and after pictures. We prefer it, but we understand. I'm not going to tease anymore. I'll just leave it right there. Also, what we will be requiring is an invoice from you and the maintenance log. So we've changed what these look like, and we hope that they'll be a lot easier. Last year, if you're returning, we did invoices in-house. We changing that, putting it back out for you guys to submit, as well as your maintenance log. I did not have a slide for the maintenance log, but I'll show you a little bit about what the invoice will potentially look like. If you are accepted into CareLot, we will definitely get these documents out to you in advance, and they will be pre-populated, right? So let's see. Let me flip over. Before I flip over to show you what it looks like, I do just want to mention, we know y'all talented. And you can do a better invoice and template than me. I'm certain of it. But I'm asking you not to alter it. Don't change it. Don't add anything to it. No decals, no community logos, or anything like that. Because remember, this template has been approved, and it's what's accepted to BCF. We want to get you paid fast. We do not want to have to send it back to you because you got to change it. And then keep it simple. Keep it simple, family. And we'll show you the template. Next slide, Morgan, please. It'll look a little bit like this. I promise it'll be real simple. We're gonna pre-populate that stuff for you with your organization name, or if you use a fiscal sponsor, their information. We'll put everything in there. All you would have to do is for the invoice. Our director kind of changed this up a little bit this evening. So this isn't exactly what it'll look like. It'll just be 2 little lines, but you'll see it. Yeah, it's gonna be simplified. I promise you. I promise you. But the form will look just a little bit like this. But she just sent it to us not too long ago, where she changed it just to make it a little bit better. And your maintenance log is gonna be simple too. I didn't drop it in. I apologize, but if you accept it, you'll get all of these documents well before it starts. Again, we'll pre-populate all of your things in there. Your maintenance log, we will list out all of your addresses that you are approved for. You would just provide your description of work, any challenges or issues, any SRs you had to submit. I promise you guys, it's easy breezy, and you would submit them both together. Again, we will be giving out a little timeline so that you can keep up with the correct submission dates and things like that. All right, but we hope to make it super, super simple for you. Again, use CareAlot at baltimorecity.gov for all things CareAlot. Next slide, Morgan, please. All right, so to the fun stuff. So we have 2 programs that we piloted last year, bring it back this year. So we're pretty excited about it. It's our loyalty program. So our loyalty program is a program that provides upfront funding for the first 5 visits. And this, we can support up to 8 neighborhood organizations, or 8 organizations that have the following. You've participated in CareAlot for at least 3 consecutive years and is in good standing. You have successfully maintained at least 15 vacant lots during each participation year. And you've also completed at least 8 maintenance visits during each participation year. Also, you've given us timely invoices, maintenance log submissions, and you've been responsive. And this program is first come, first serve basis. So don't sleep on that if you are an organization that meets those requirements. this loyalty program might be for you. All loyalty program participants will complete a grant report. And also you guys will have to provide the same visitation documentation as our traditional CareLot grantees, right? And so once your 5 visits and your upfront funding is over, come July, you will be resorting back to the traditional model for CareLot, where you'll be submitting your invoices, right? You'll be submitting your maintenance logs. Follow me? And I know I don't have to say this loud, but I'm just going to mention it, that failure to comply with any of the rules for our loyalty program will result in you not being able to participate in any CareLot program. And then we're going to want all our money back. And I'm gonna just leave it like that because I don't have to say that to you guys because you guys are fantastic. But we do just have to let you know that we are good stewards of our funding, and how we're able to keep our program going is because we do a great job of managing and watching over everything. And we want to keep this program going. So we just want it to be right. But you great, so no worries. Morgan, next slide, please, because that's our loyalty program. Slides look the same, but this is our legacy program. And so again, this program is all upfront funding, not just the first 5 maintenance visit. This is all upfront funding that'll support up to 8 organizations that have the following. They've been with BMORE Beautiful for 4 consecutive years and are in good standing. They've maintained at least 25 vacant lots during each participation year. Legacy folks also are expected to complete at least 10 maintenance visits during the participation year, if not all 11, as well as a record of timely invoice and log submissions and have been responsive. Again, first come, first serve basis. So if this is you, apply. Legacy program participants must complete a grant report in October detailing your work. It's not a hefty grant report, but we do want to know what you've been up to. How's it been going? Me and Natasha probably have been by, but it's not enough for us to say, oh, they did great, this, that, and the third. We need it on paper, okay? And also, participants are required to complete all 11 maintenance visits. And again, for the people in the back, failure to comply with the rules of the legacy program will result in expulsion of the CareLot program and immediate return of all funds. Next slide, please. Hey, guys, so we do have an equipment grant. Now, it's not a whole lot, but we do have one. Equipment grant funds are awarded up to 8 groups to really jumpstart the CareLot efforts. If you are interested in CareLot, at best, we have the expectation that you have a mower. You have the basic things to kind of get the lot going, right? We reserve equipment grants for those that need a little help to jumpstart. So you are allowed to purchase the items outlined in your award letter if you are, if you received equipment grant funds. Everybody's not going to receive that. It'll be noted in your award letter. If you are requesting equipment, then it should be detailed in your application. All right. If you need to purchase a different item, you must notify us in writing at CareLot, and we are going to need every receipt for the items that you purchase on your equipment. Natasha?
And I was just going to add, typically when we do the equipment grant, we do 2 separate agreements for them. So it's one agreement that will be specifically detailing the maintenance aspect of it, the bulk of the program, and the equipment grant thing gets separate. And that one, I think I don't know if you noted it, but it's up to $500. So
yes,
anything that you may need, and if you have a mower, it's a good way to think about some of those items that that add up. Gas, it's high, y'all. It adds up quickly. So if you think about that, like I might need to get a little gas card to have on the side to make sure that I can keep this mower mowing. Oil, those kind of things. Take those things into consideration. When you're also thinking about applying for equipment grants, some things we can provide you guys with. So don't add them on a list if you don't have to. So if you need gloves and bags and things along those lines, we are able to give you those things. So it's no reason to take away from something that might be more beneficial to your neighborhood. Those kind of things, grabbers, gloves, bags, we are more than happy to give to you. So think of larger actual tools, especially those tools that can get you through the season and postseason as well.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Morgan, next slide, please. All right, coordinator fee. Coordinator's fee cannot exceed $500. Even if you're a legacy, even if you're not legacy and you're maintaining up to 25 lots, your coordinator fee will not exceed $500. Coordinator fee is only payable once the report and maintenance log and approved invoices have been submitted and approved. Coordinated fee is issued in accordance with the number of approved maintenance visits. So for example, you have 25 lots, but you only completed 7 maintenance visits, you will be issued a coordinator fee in the amount of $350 and not the traditional $500 you would have received had you completed at least 10. All right, so I hope that makes sense. And again, coordinator fee is only paid at the end of the grow season. So some of those that have been with us for a little bit, we used to do it a little differently. So, but coordinator fee will be paid towards the end. Next slide, please. All right, we won't leave you hanging. We're going to hook you up with some of our maintenance kits, a little swag bag you're going to get. Again, Natasha mentioned this, but these are things we can give you. Don't add it if you're asking for equipment, don't add it in. Work gloves, we've got trash grabbers, we've got the reusable bags. We're going to hook you up with a safety vest, and then we're going to give you care lot signage. All right, so that way you can put it on your lot so everybody knows that this is being maintained through care lot. And we'll have dates that'll come out to say when you can pick those up from the office. Sometimes we act like we Amazon Prime and we drop them off and keep it moving. So we'll make sure that these things are available to you. Next slide, please. All right, so woo. So we there. I want to leave it open. I was talking that much. All right, so I know a lot of questions been going in the chat. I'll turn it over to Natasha.